the automation along with the Excel sheet. So first we'll explain some standard modules that we will be using while doing automation with Excel sheet. Mm, Under standard modules, in Tbox extension folder, you will have one folder called Excel, which is dedicated for all the Excel functions. So I'll explain all the modules, standard modules available under the folder, and we'll see with the scenario. The first is Tbox Open Excel Workbook. So this module we will be using while when we want while we are doing some action, we have to open the Excel first. So we will be using this. This as the first step. So we will be opening the Excel workbook. So while executing the test case which has this step, it will not literally open the Excel sheet, which means physically the Excel sheet will not get open. So in the back end, it will do all the process.
Okay.
The workbook name. This is here we will be giving the Excel name. So the file name we will be here entering here, and path wherever it is located we will be entering that file path and create new. So this is uh, optional attribute. So which means if you are creating new Excel, that time you can give value as true, or
Okay.
you can keep it empty. By default, you can see default values false. So by
Okay.
default, it will be false. If you want to create new one, you just set it as true. And
Okay.
password. So the Excel workbook that you are working with is password protected. You have to enter the password here.
Okay.
And open as read only. So you are not editing any values. You are just getting the values from data sheet. That time you can open as read only. So by
Okay.
default, it will be 5. So in order to open it in read only, you have to give the value true. And then close Excel workbook. So after we done with all the works in Excel workbook, we will be closing that. So that time we will be using the standard module. So again, workbook name path. So save means so after you have made changes and if you want to save, you can give the value true. By default, it will be false. Save path, and if you want to save that file in another path, so if you want to save that file in different location, in different folder or something, that time you can give that save path here. And save as type, and so normally
Yeah. Yeah.
different file format, so you can give that type here in this field if you want to save it in different format. And then T-box define Excel range. So when we are working with any Excel sheet, first we will be defining the range. So I'll show you with the workbook. It's not loaded. Okay, I'll show you in the while we are seeing about the scenario. So we will be defining the range. Like if we have the data from A1 cell to D10 cell, we have some data from A1 cell to D10 cell. So we will be defining the range for that data. So within that range, so after defining the range, we will be doing all the actions, all the editing things, or if you are reading some data from the Excel sheet, all we will be doing using this Excel range manipulation. So there we can do all the actions in the format of table. So yesterday we saw about how to do work with table, right? So after defining the range, we will be doing all the works as we are working with the table. So, so we have to define the range first. Okay, it came. So here, if you see, I have some data from A8 cell and D12 cell, and I have some other data from A1 to D5. Okay, so this is some different data, and this is some different data. So we have to define the range for this one. We have to, if you see this module, workbook name, Excel name, worksheet name means this tab name, register, and then range name. So range name is user defined. We can give any name. So I have here some user details. So I can define the range name as user details. It's user defined only. We can give any name. And here in data range, we will be uh, writing what is the start cell and end cell. So in order to define the data, I
Yeah.
have, this is AI is the start, and so in this way we will be defining the range. So this enables us to work with the set of data in the Excel workbook, defining the range. And then Tworks create Excel worksheet. So in this workbook, in this Excel, if you want to create any new worksheet, that time we can use this standard module. So workbook name, so the Excel book name you will be giving, and worksheet name is, so the newly creating worksheet name you will be giving here, and worksheet order, in which order it should be created. By default it will be last. By default, mm, mm, by default value is last. So by default it will be last. If you want to be it to be created in the first position or second position, we have to give that value. And then Tickbox Excel range manipulation. So this is very important module. So here only we will be doing all the actions. If we want to read the values from Excel, or if we want to give the input to the Excel, all things we will be doing uh, with this one. So here we will be giving the range name. So when I'm working with this data, I'll be giving the range name of this data. And if I'm working with this data, I'll be giving the range name for that for this one.
Okay.
So we have to give the range name, and then we will be doing all the action as we do it in the table. Like it will be considered as the header row, and this will be row 1, row 2, row 3, row 4 in this range A to D12.
Mhm.
This data will act as the table. So how we are working with table, the same way we will be doing the action here. And run Excel macro. Yeah, I guess macro in the sense, yeah, as I said, it's some functionality in Excel sheet. So it will automate something in Excel, I guess. I'm not
Mm.
sure or not aware of that. So yeah, if you have macro, maybe in future you can use. So if you have macro in your Excel,
Mhm.
and if you want to run that macro, you can give the workbook name, and you have to give the macro name which is in your Excel. And timeout means for how much time, the duration, for how much time it should run,
Okay.
that macro should get running. So that will be entering here. So this is for Excel macro function. And then delete Excel worksheet. So if you want to delete any worksheet, like if you want to delete sheet 1, you will be giving the workbook name and that worksheet name which we want to delete, and update a Excel worksheet. So workbook name will be given here, and current worksheet name. So if you want to rename the worksheet name, we will be providing the current worksheet name. It's only editing the worksheet name. Here in current worksheet name, I'll be providing the sheet 1 name as the
Mm.
sheet 1, and the new worksheet name will be anything like login, for example. So I'll be
Mm.
providing that. And new order, if I want to move that worksheet to some other different order, uh, like I want it to be first, I'll be providing the value like first. It's like updating, which means doing some action with the Excel worksheet. We can rename or we can change the order of it. And then T box clear Excel range. So this module helps us to clear certain data from the specific range. So range name we will define here. So for which data we want to do the action, and for that range, if I want to clear all the contents within that range, I'll be providing true. Okay, okay. Here, if you see, mm, we will get the image of the scanning page when we are doing it. You can see right the image. So while scanning, it will get. But for standard module, obviously there will not be any image, right? So this is module section. In this only you will be able to see. So I'm just explaining the module. We
Okay.
will be creating the test case later. So these columns are applicable to module section. So range name we will be providing, and then content. So by default the value will be false. Sorry, true, which means it will clear the content. If I'm keeping it empty, it will clear
Mm.
the all the data which is present in the range. So if I
Mm.
don't want to clear that content or data within that range, I have to keep it false. And
Okay.
formats means, so we will have some certain format with that data, right, with that range. So if I want to clear that, I have to give the value true. So the default value is false for this. For
Mm.
other all the module attributes, the default value will be false. For contents only, the default value will be true. And if I want to clear the notes and comments, so we can add the comments to the specific cell, right? So if I want to clear all the comments for that range, I can enable it as true. And then hyperlink. So in order to clear the hyperlinks within present within that range, I'll be giving true. And then outlines. So border. So in order to clear the border lines, we will be using this. We will be giving the value true to this outlines option.
Okay.
Then finally, yeah, file compare. So when we need to compare two Excel files, we can use this. So reference file, which is the source file, that file
Mm.
name along with the file location we will be entering, and then reference password. If it is password protected, we will be entering the reference password here, and then target file, the file we are testing. So that file name along with the location will be added here. File path will be entered for this module attribute, and then target password. If it is password protected, we have to enter the password and include sales data. So these are the options available to compare both files, both Excel files. So if you want to include sales data in the comparison, you have to enable true. You have to give the value true or false. So if you are not comparing the data, you are just comparing the format of the Excel, you can give the value true here. And include objects means, so pie chart, all the charts and graphs will be objects, right? So if you want to include all those objects in the comparison, you can give the value true. and you don't want that in comparison, you can give files. And then include sheets. Um, just assume in reference file you have some worksheets, and in in target file you have some sheets. In comparison, you want to include certain sheets only from the target file. So that time you can enter the sheets here, only the sheets that you want to include in the comparison here in this include cells column.
got it.
And then output path. So output path, so the file location where you want to store the result file. These are the different modules, standard modules available for Excel sheet. Mm, we'll see with one scenario. The scenario here is, I want to register for four different users, and I want to get the details from Excel sheet. The data are in Excel sheet, and I want to get the data from Excel sheet, and I want to register for. Uh, I guess I don't. 1 minute. I guess I don't have the model for registration. What's website? I'm looking for the. Let's see. Okay, for registration, I have imported the venue. So, to do this scenario, first step would be, okay, first step to register is to click the register link. So I'll be adding that step, clicking on register button. And then we will be entering the details. So to enter the details, we have to get the details from Excel sheet. So first step will be opening the Excel sheet. So first I have to open the Excel sheet in order to get the data from that. Okay. Workbook name would be,
Registration.
yeah. Uh, okay, I deleted something. Okay, okay, it's okay. Yeah, registration, and we have to enter the format also. Registration dot Excel sx, and then path. Properties. Okay, this we are asking. So I just copied from the. Yeah, yeah, we have to put that. So we are not creating new one. So I'm keeping it empty, and it is not password protected. I'm not entering
Okay.
here, and I'm not giving open as read only also. So we'll do some action. So I'm not keeping it as read only mode. Here in this step, we are opening the Excel. So after opening, we will be getting the data from Excel sheet. So before that, we will be defining the range.
Registration.
Again, workbook name is reg- registration
Creation.
Excel. And worksheet name is register. Yeah, A8 D12. So start cell is A8 and D12. Range name I'm giving as, so we can give some any name. So I'm just giving new user data. So this is the range name. So we define the range. We have to get the data. So for that we will be needing to use this Excel range manipulation. So range name is new user data. From this, from this I want to get the data. Mm, so I want to register for four users. Four users I want to register. We are repeating the step of registering. We are going to use the repetition. So otherwise we have to use four different rows. We have to get that, and it would be complex. So I'm going to use the repetition as the same step is repeating for some time, four times. So I'm going to use the repetition. For that, I'm creating one folder, and I'm going to place this one. Okay, and here we know we have four data for users, so I can directly enter the repetition value as 4. So in the case of if you don't know the total number of users, as the data present there is more, so that time what you can do is in the previous step we have to get the number of rows here using that row count. Yesterday we saw, right? So using the row count we have to get the number of rows, and we have to buffer it, and here in the repetition we have to minus that header thing. So it would be, we have to use the map function in order to subtract 1. Same thing what we did yesterday. Number of rows minus 1. So then here we have captured the total number of rows, and using that we have given here how many times that steps to be repeated. And what and all steps will be repeated is we will be getting the data from first cell, second cell, third cell, fourth cell. We will be getting the data and we will be registering that. So all those steps will be repeated for all the users. So to get the data, I'll be adding this module once again. Range name again, new user data and data table. So as like in table, we will be doing the actions here. Mm, Yesterday we saw, right, dollar. So for the first time, for the first repetition, I want to get the data from first row. Mm, mm, mm. Okay, I guess I'll get some error. Okay, fine, I'll continue. So I'm entering repetition. So for the first repetition, the first value should be the value from first row should be returned. So first row, sorry, the row number and cell number would be first cell which would be first name. So we want to buffer the values. We have to set the action mode buffer, and here we will be giving the buffer name. So here we don't need to give any property and all. We will just give the buffer name. I'm giving first name. Last name. And third will be email ID. Fourth one is password. No, no. We are just giving some random name. And here fourth will be password. So we have created the buffer in order to get the data from Excel sheet. Okay. So here we are getting the data, and then we will be using that data in order to give the input in registration window. The next step would be entering the details. So gender, I'm giving commonly as female. Radio content. Okay. First name, I'm calling the buffer first name. And for last name, last name, and email ID. Finally, password. I have to set the data type string and use the buffer function. And here again, the password. And finally, clicking on register button. So here we got all the data, and here we have entered all the data in the application. And it will be repeated for 4 times. And one more thing is, after registering, the register user will be logged in automatically. So we have to click on the logout button before proceeding with the registration for next. So I'll be adding the logout button also. Okay. Okay, we have added all the steps. So after completing all the steps, we will be closing the Excel sheet. So T box close Excel workbook. Workbook name is registry dot Excel fx and path topic. I don't want to save anything, so I'm not entering anything here. Okay, so now we have created the test cases. I guess we will get some error. Okay, I'll run it. So before running, we have to make sure we have to close this Excel sheet.
Okay.
Actually, I have to change. Those are already used data. 1 minute, I'll change the data. Yes, it's working fine. Okay, I'll run it from starting. Okay, it's taking email ID while it talk. It's different, I guess. Hmm, what it is taking? Oh, okay, email. Okay, em. There is spelling mistake in my buffer name, so it's picking some other value from the already existing buffer actually. Mm. So here it is. There is no I right email, so it's picking some other value. Yes. Email ID and here email ID. Okay, fine. And now it will. On the side will run for all the four users. I guess I'm getting some error again. Okay. The thing is, this clicking on register button I haven't given in the repetition. I got stuck in it. Mm,